Greetings, dear ones. I'm Kryon of Magnetic Service. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to clear your mind as much as possible in these closing moments of the weekend. In the last channel of 2018, I gave you a gift, a perception, a truth, a core belief of who you are. And the beginning of 2019, I want to go further than that. Very briefly, I want to tell you how God sees you. I use the word God because that's the word you developed. It is the great creative source. It is the master of all dimensions. It's the greatest physicist. The one who created everything. The one that is the many. The one that is connected in such a way that when you are on the other side of the veil, dear ones, when you pass over in transition for a moment, you become part of the creative source. Trillions and trillions of points of light, you might say, of entities together, making the oneness of all that is. The compassion above compassions, the love above love. You cannot fathom what's there. And yet, you're part of it. And part of coming to this planet and the test of energy that occurs here is that you forget it all while you're here. You have to know something, another core truth. You have to know, how does God see you? What are you capable of? That's the first thing. The conference has centered around the science of consciousness. So we continue. And we take you to a level we've spoken of before. What might be there inside every single human being that you're just starting to feel or investigate? The hero story that has been mentioned by my partner, how does that fit in unless you were a hero? Did you think of that? Why would intrinsically, innate, give you that story all through humanity unless you were the hero? In this culture, you worship a master. In many cultures around the planet, it's the same master. It's the Christ. We have spoken of the man before, the man. We've spoken of the man who was a human being, walking the planet. Even in the times that it was recorded that he walked and did, we've spoken of what was happening. And I don't want to talk about the doctrines. I want to talk about what they saw. A man, not an angel, a man. And where he walked, it seemed that the flowers grew, and where he walked, the animals followed him, and he created things out of his hand, and he healed the sick. That's a master. That's a man. And I've said it before, that's a human being at the model stage. That's where you're going. That gets me in trouble. That's where you're going. That's what you were built for. That's what's inside. Consciousness in love with the master creator, in a meld that understands the oneness of all things. Where the earth knows you as you walk along because you're one with the earth. Where you suspend all thinking about tomorrow or the next day or the past, and instead you are simply one light on the planet, and in the consciousness you say, I am light. And where you walk with the others on the planet, eventually you'll be able to control physics. Manifestation of things, even the things you need to eat. Can you imagine that? You have control over physics. Gone are all the paradigms of resources, all of them, because the resource is you. How about that? You got to see the model. How does God see you? I have a little short visualization, and then we close. I want you to wipe away, if you can, everything you've been told about that creative source, that energy that you all know is there. Finally, this planet is one that believes in one creator, one God, if you wish. Didn't always. You've evolved to that. The planet now, over 80% believes in the afterlife. Didn't always. You've evolved to that. You're getting it slowly. But in the linearity of your teaching, that afterlife often becomes a place of torture. And how many times have we given you the information? How much love do you think God has for you? How much love do you have for your children? Would you do this to your kids? And the answer is no way. And yet this infinite loving God would then take you and do it. There's something wrong with the model, isn't there? There's something wrong here. What does your intuition tell you about the great central source and the love that is in you? I want you to visualize something. You're in a room and you're alone and you're sitting in a chair. And there's no one around you, dear ones. Just you. In some cultures, I want you to see yourself instead outside, but no one's around you. It doesn't matter, because you're alone. And in this vision, there's going to be a light, a spotlight, put upon your chair. And once you envision for a moment your hands out and your head rolled back, just for a moment, because you're going to be under the microscope of God. A light comes and shines on you brighter than the sun. You cannot begin to even start to open your eyes. It's way too bright. All to examine you. You put your name right there, who you are. What does God see? And depending upon that belief model you have, or what you've been told, or any of the things we started talking about earlier, there are those who will then say, wait a minute, we cannot start there. We've got to clear, we've got to clean, we've got to do exercises, we've got to breathe a little before we want the Creator to examine us. This might be the last thing before I ascend. Who knows? Maybe that's what Kryon's talking about. No. I'm talking about where you sit today. Pretend you're alone. Here comes the light. Then there would be those who say, I'm not comfortable. I don't want to do this because I've been told I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy to be examined. I'm not worthy to look upon the face of God. And I want to tell you, dear ones, here's the first gift. That's a great lie. It truly is. And those who would tear away your magnificence and call you dirty, they may believe this, dear ones. But it isn't so. You are examinable every single moment of the day. The God that knows how many hairs are on your head can shine a light on you, and I will tell you what that great Creator will see. That great Creator will see the mirror neuron of God in you. And will say, if you could hear a voice, I love you. It doesn't get any better than that from the creative source. I love your magnificence. I see me and you together. I see the magnificence that you are, that you will discover you are. I hear the instructions at the beginning of 2019 as the light is shined on you, brighter than the sun, that says, eventually you will stand and go from this chair more magnificent than you ever thought you were. Go from this place different than you came, knowing absolutely that you're here on purpose and there are things to do. And this is the message for the year. But then again, I am Kryon. This has been the message for 30 years. But more so today than any other time, as this planet has crossed that marker of 2012, has absorbed the prophecies of the ancients and begun to evolve. More work to do, dear ones. More light to shine. And no better way than by finding the God in you and showing others how to live. And so it is.